Sue-Ann, I'd like to continue that thought that I so rudely interrupted you before the
Yes,
break there
don't worry.
about the whole story of this principal, because I think a lot of people might have read the headline, but I don't know if they really understand all of the things that led up to that highly, highly awful situation that happened. So if you could
Yes.
just continue your thought there.
Well, highly publicized. The poor gentleman, he was 60 years old. He was a principal, very much loved, cherished. I mean, he was a beautiful soul. I just went to a tribute for him a week ago, and he was in a diversity, equity, and inclusiveness session given by a trainer by the name of Kiko Ojo Johnson, who was a trainer of choice from the Toronto District School Board and many other school boards. And she centered him out. He just asked a very, very simple question. And I guess he challenged her. She centered him out. She harassed him. She at the session the following week, she harassed him again, called him a example of white privilege, and said the school board should take action against him. Subsequent to that, he was canceled from various contracts. They were revoked by the school board, even though the WSIB said that he'd been subject to very egregious action and awarded him some money. The poor guy launched a lawsuit, but I guess it was all too much. And in July, he committed suicide. The DIEI trainer is, as of last Friday, still doing stuff. She was doing a session at the York Region District School Board. The Toronto School Board and the Education Ministry said they launched a review back in July, done nothing about it. I think they hope that this will all die. They will sweep it under the rug. There are teachers and others who are determined not to let it die. And in fact, at that tribute, they announced a scholarship in his name and an award in his name to teachers who exemplify the kind of excellence that and speak up about these crazy DEI sessions, which 200 people were in that session that he was in. No one spoke up. Everybody's afraid. They're intimidated. And, it's a very sad state of affairs right now.
Yeah, and I understand the question he asked this so-called trainer was, or the trainer said that racism was much worse in Canada than the U.S.
Yeah.
And he had actually
Yeah.
taught in the U.S., so he had U.S. experience. And he just said to her,
Yeah.
"I don't think that's true," and that triggered this entire,
Oh my God.
singling out of
She did
him.
not
And
like being challenged, and she said that
no,
this is the best example of racism, and it completely went off the rails. The poor guy didn't have a chance, and nobody supported him. And this is what's happening I've talked to other people who were in other sessions, and this is how they behave. They've been enabled and emboldened by school boards. And Unfortunately, the Toronto District School Board, there's a whole cast of characters who preach the anti-Black racism mantra. And I just feel sorry for students who just want to get an education. In fact, I'll just say one thing, at his tribute, a South Asian woman spoke, the head of the South Asian community, and she said he had spoken up for Asian children who achieved excellence in the system and had been sidelined as white privilege adjacent. These terms are coming up. Like, where do they come from, Catherine?
they invent
These crazy
language.
terms.
Yep, they
Yeah.
invent language. And I understand he was also, and this is something that businesses should be particularly alert to. I understand he also was a defender that they got rid of the sort of specialty schools that if you went for
Yeah.
music or something, you had to demonstrate some facility for, say, music. Not
Mhm.
everybody has it, or some other specialty, whether it was math or whatever.
Mhm.
And he defended the concept that you should actually that students should actually demonstrate some excellence in whatever that specialty topic was. And they
Right.
removed that, and he fought against that removal of the merit
Yeah.
criteria, which to me is totally absurd, because boy, when you get into the world of work, merit is what matters and should matter
Yeah.
more than just about it, and hard work more than anything else.
This speaks to what you're talking about in business. We're graduating kids. I mean, have you ever been at a cash register where a young
Oh yes.
teen can't even add? Like, if you give them the proper change, they can't even add or subtract. It's embarrassing. And this is what we're graduating: math illiterate, kids who go on their, typewriters and rely on spell check, but are, just grammatically illiterate. And the test scores, the standardized test scores, are showing, how poorly they're performing. But of course, the unions want to do away with the tests
Yeah, yeah.
because
We're going to have to take a
it
break
speaks.
there, Sue-Ann,
Yeah.
but that's a great topic for after our break. So we're going to take a break now. You are watching Canadian Innovators.